Hey, do any of you guys know who the hell's in the Western Conference anymore?
Giannis soon. Psychos and sickos unite for a Please Stay Up Tonight edition of the PHNX Suns pregame show. Of course, brought to you by our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit PlayedGila.com for more details. Whole squad's together for a 9 p.m. tip-off.
Where's the energy? I need more. It's 8:30. I need somebody to get me pumped up.
Mark it down.
Psychos and sickos unite. Come on, give me something.
Mark that down as the first time ever in the history of humanity that somebody has asked me to be louder. We got the whole squad here on a Tuesday night. I'm Eric, that's Gil, we got Espo, we got Steven, we got the Freckled Mamba who's turning down my levels as I'm screaming because the Phoenix Suns are taking on the Portland Trail Blazers, a 9 p.m. tip-off. We'll have a Jalen Green injury update. We're not going to talk about trades during this pregame. You'll have a watch-along that you can watch on this very channel with us. We're staying up late, so hell, why not do a watch-along? Plus, tomorrow at 3 p.m., we are doing a trade deadline primer, but that's all in the future. Let's talk about tonight, but actually, while we're talking about tonight, we also need to talk about the past because there were some awards that were given out. Let's start with Jordan, who was named the Western Conference Coach of the Month. Great honors, the first time ever in Jordan Ott's career, Steven, that he took home that name.
Yeah, much earned, much deserved. Continuing to do the things that he's done with this roster, regardless of who is or isn't available, says a lot about his feel for the roster that he has, the environment established, and the way that those guys respond to the different asks that he has on a game-by-game basis. His team is in a really good space right now. They don't get there without having one of the best coaches in the league this season, and you got to just do this past month.
You can give him Coach of the Month, and you can just hand him Coach of the Year soon as well because he's been unbelievable, and last month was just stacking on those wins.
One step closer to that Coach of the Year trophy. I think 11 wins in the month of January, retired for the most in the league. And you mentioned no Devin Booker for some of those games and no Jalen Green for most of those games, wins over the Knicks twice, Thunder. It was a good month for Jordan Ott. So it's exciting to see him getting more attention, more national attention being placed on this team.
I don't think we've underrated how big he's been, but I do think that just having a real coach this year has been so fresh. Like, yeah, Frank Vogel had his good moments, but he lost the locker room late, honestly, starting right about now, maybe even a month earlier, he lost the locker room. Mike Budenholzer, I don't know if he ever had the locker room. And we've seen, obviously, all these great individual performances that we've talked about night in and night out from so many different players. And, of course, the players deserve the credit, but this entire franchise trajectory would be different if Jordan Ott was not the head coach right now. And I'm grateful. I'm thankful that he's in our life and that we have him coaching up this team. I'm also grateful for the NBA Western Conference Player of the Week, Dillon Brooks, taking it home, averaging over 28 points per game, obviously including that career high 40-ball Gil. It was a week for Dillon Brooks.
Big week for Dillon Brooks. I think the other part of it was the efficiency. Over 50% from the field, over 50% from three-point range, and obviously putting the team on his back in a lot of senses. The 4 consecutive games of 25-plus points for the first time in his career. And I think, again, I talked about the national attention being placed on this team. The context and the timing of it stepping up when Dillon Brooks or when Devin Booker went down was big for him and this team, and I'm glad that the league took notice.
Plus, leads the league in technicals and technicals rescinded. So
there you go.
Can't go wrong with that.
Checking all the boxes.
I almost feel like we forget about his defense, though, too, because his offense has been so good lately. But that's such a huge thing. And then, obviously, the culture side of it. But Player of the Week did everything that you could ask from him.
Yeah. Dillon has been ridiculous. The ability to step up and roll in multiple ways this season has to be kind of held a little bit higher than it has been. I think, again, this team, for as good as Devin's been, they don't get to where they're at right now without Dillon being as good as he has been as well. 4 games this past week, 22 pull-up two-point attempts, 53.1%. None of those were open. Not a single one of those were open, and almost none of them took place after anything less than 2 dribbles. So, like, he was putting in a lot of work, playing the primary role at the top of the pecking order for opposing teams' scouting reports, and I mean, he continues to just deliver and deliver and deliver.
I feel like most of his shots are not wide open.
No, that guy loves getting a
Not
hand
from
in his
2,
face.
for sure.
No, look, we love Dillon Brooks. In fact, we love Dillon Brooks so much that we went ahead and we made a shirt about Dillon, the villain, number 3, now live at the link that we will be dropping in the chat on our store. A brand new shirt, the first shirt of this Suns season. Maybe the first shirt ever made specifically dedicated to Dillon Brooks. I'm just going to go ahead and coin that.
Except for the one that they just gave out.
Second.
It's the second one. Yeah. The first one that you're able to buy. And that is up in our store right now. Ayrton just dropped the link in the chat. We're all excited to be rocking that. So if you were in the Die Hard Discord, then you saw that quite a bit earlier. So definitely go check that out. Help support us. You guys want more shirts? You want Blue Collar Boy shirts? You want like new Devin Booker shirt, new merchandise with this team? Guess what? We got to have this one sell. And so go ahead and hit that link there. Pretty fun time.
I feel like we need a villain laughing in the background sound for every time Dillon is like the main topic, or like whenever we have the shirt being pubbed, or like something along the lines of that.
I like that. We're also working on the morgue scrubs as well that you can rock. So,
Steven, want to go ahead and just give us an evil laugh? Go for it.
No.
Come on. We all knew Espo would do it. I want to hear Steven do it.
Now, why would you ask a guard to post up?
Ooh.
I've seen you play. You're a guard that posts up, so that's a bad comparison.
Steven ain't got an eagle bone in his body.
No,
I'm not doing that.
Give me a little chuckle.
I don't have that.
A little laugh.
I don't have that.
Smile.
I don't have that. If you want keys, I can give you those, though.
No, we're not there yet. Where we are is our injury report. Go buy the shirt. Presented by our friends over at the Husband and Wife Law Team. If you had a serious injury, call the Husband and Wife Law Team first at 602-783-8841 or visit the website at husbandandwifelawteam.com. Look, people are freaking out about this. Devin Booker out, right ankle sprain. No reevaluation from him as of yet. Did not make the trip out to Portland. Jalen Green was questionable with his right hamstring injury management and left hip contusion, the longest injury designation I've ever seen, but he has been downgraded to out. Before we get to the Blazers side of things, Espo, people, they're freaking out about Jalen Green, which they have been for a really long time, but it feels like tonight, more so than ever, people are losing their minds.
We're all cranky because it's late, I guess, is part of it.
I'm not cranky. I'm chilling.
Come on, give me a smile then.
He sounds cranky. I don't know.
No generalization.
There's the smile. Yeah.
Hey, look, everybody join me at the camera. We don't have our other camera, so I'm just gonna stare at this one. I could walk up closer, but I'm not going to. It's all right. We all saw him fall. That's a hell of a bruise. There's nothing else to worry about. He'll be fine. And that is based on the 8 years I spent at the University of Arizona to not get a doctorate. I didn't really spend 8 years there, but I spent a long time.
Yeah, who's counting? Whatever.
So he'll be okay. All right.
If you did the leave the game and then come back thing that they're allowing players to do now, I mean,
I got eligibility.
Yeah.
Wait.
There you go.
I'm gonna go play flag football.
You and LeBron.
Yeah.
You and LeBron. Gil, people are freaking out, and like this sucks. Like this like it sucks that he's not playing,
right.
And I get that. But it's a 1-game road trip, right? It's a weird game. I don't know if tip-off really matters, but it's a 9 p.m. tip against a Portland team that we'll get to is completely injured in their own right. And he fell from about like 5 or 6 feet up and was clearly hobbled. It's good news that he's been questionable, but yeah, he hasn't been playing, and that's frustrating. But let's not like run through a wall and yell at our phones over this.
No, exactly, Eric. I think like the big thing is it's not like it's some mystery injury that like popped up out of nowhere. We all saw it. We all saw the fall, and we all had the exact same visceral reaction when we saw him fall. And then we saw him get back up and play for a little bit, and then he just couldn't anymore. So it's not like this like big debilitating thing that is going to hold him out for a long period of time. They're just being cautious. And the other part about it is, you mentioned a one-off, one-game road trip. Guess what? There's a 4-game homestand after this, going into the All-Star break. So if we don't see him during that 4-game homestand before the All-Star break, freak out. You have my permission to freak out.
Sweet.
But I think that we're going to see him sometime in the next couple of days, and it'll all be fine. Just, it's okay. It's okay.
They didn't even let Devin get on the plane. They just said, don't bother, stay at home. And we're freaking out because they're like, you know what, Jalen, take another day. It's fine.
Yeah, I think it's, kind of predictable. They don't want to rush him back for anything that might overcompensate to the hamstring, which is obviously the main character of his injuries at this moment. So understandable for sure. You want to be precautionary with these things. You're looking long term.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you had more after that. That was definitely.
Right, we said enough, man.
Yeah. Okay. And we've said enough about Jalen Green. This is Coach Ott when asked pregame about him.
Curious, what led to you keeping Devin back in Phoenix?
Yeah, just the in and out. 2.5-hour flight. Okay. Felt that it was best for his rehab. To really just stay home. Wanted to come, but the way he's moving in the direction of that ankle sprain, day by day, just taking leaps. So it's just best for him to stay home.
And then what factored in Jalen not playing tonight?
It's kind of we all saw that fall and how hard it was. It's the soreness of that hip. We're just got to be smart that his gait, his running mechanics don't change to overcompensate for him coming off the hamstring injury. So it's a little bit of both, but we want to be sure that everything's good with the hip, so nothing else is affected.
Not the hamstring. It's the fall.
And the gait, guess what? If you're not running appropriately, guess what that could cause an issue with? Your freaking hamstring. So let him get right before he rushes back.
And if he did rush back and then he got re-injured, guess what? The same people that are freaking out right now would be freaking out some more. Yeah. But you have Gil's permission. You're allowed to freak out by the end of next week.
February 12th is when I will sign your all freak out permission slips. February 12th.
Freak out.
Do we have anything else on Green before we talk a little bit about Book, which Jordan Ott also talked about in that comment? No. Devin Booker, not making the trip with the team, still out, no reevaluation as of yet. He obviously seems fine. My question is, how many games do you think he plays before the All-Star break? 0.
I was going to say 2, maybe. It's a back-to-back right before the break, though. Granted, it's at home, but I don't think we see him this week. Games after this are Thursday, Saturday. I don't think it's worth pushing for those games. Thursday's going to be a weird one, especially the trade deadline. But next week, I'm eyeing either Dallas, Oklahoma City, or both games next week. So I would think 1 or 2.
Yeah, I've operated with after All-Star break in mind. Just, again, out of precaution. Wanting him to be healthy post All-Star break, which is what they're gonna value most. And yeah, that's just kind of where I've been once the injury initially happened. It looked worse than obviously what the ultimate diagnosis was and what the time frames they gave were. But in my mind, I'm like, does it really make sense for them to be ahead of schedule in terms of where they are in the standings, what their record is, the chance they have to win any of these games while he's not in the lineup, considering what they've done all season long, and just wanting him to be back 100% before the sprint that is after the halfway mark, not the halfway mark, but post All-Star break, there's about a third of the season left. So
the unofficial halfway mark.
The very, very, very unofficial, just like the unofficial start is Christmas.
Well, maybe we could talk about this as we get closer, but then do you think he plays in the All-Star break? Or
no, I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
I think he's out. I think he's there just so he can,
So not give somebody a replacement then?
No. I don't think he suits up. I think he's there on the weekend, shake hands, kiss babies, and sell shoes. Yeah,
it's a lot of book 2 promos.
No, we don't.
No fist bump.
He loses his powers when he fist bumps a baby. My thing though, there's no reason to bring him back for a single game, right?
Yeah.
Why ramp him up, have him play, and then go back on it? Just sit him out if he's not ready to go for the 4 at home. Just let him rest through All-Star break.
I think maybe him not going could lend to him coming back before, just because hey, stay home, get that extra treatment, don't fly, let's get you ready. Thursday night is flexed to, I guess, is it national TV? It's on
Amazon.
Prime.
Yeah,
Does that count as national TV?
It's national. It's a national game.
National audience.
Throw away TV. Who's they like?
Well, I guess I just didn't
like,
know if that's considered national anymore.
No,
but
it is. It's international.
yeah,
Prime time.
It's called that, an international
Pun intended. I wouldn't even
time.
think of it.
prime time international game on Thursday. Maybe he's back for that. Hopefully we can get Dillon Brooks versus Draymond Green for that if Draymond doesn't get traded.
I just
Trade
hope Steph
before the
Curry
deadline.
plays.
Trade
He's
Draymond's
definitely
ass.
out tonight. I hope he plays Thursday.
Be interesting. Well, that's the next game. Let's talk about tonight. Let's go back to that injury report, looking at the Trailblazers side of things. No Denny Avdia. Their all-star is out with a low back strain. Scoot Henderson has been out pretty much all season at this point. Drew Holiday has been upgraded to available. Of course, Damian Lillard out. Chris Murray, the twin of Keegan Murray, and Matisse Thybulle all are out.
Hold on, Drew Holiday was personal reasons. Were they on the verge of trading him as well? And
Yeah, the one time I don't make a joke about somebody missing a game for personal reasons, I'm like, something serious might have happened. James Harden's like, I just want to trade. Like, come on,
just
man.
deal me, please.
But Steven, no Denny Avdia for Portland tonight. How big of a hit is that not to have their all-star?
Man, that's a top 15 player in the league this season so far. Every bad team has a best player. And the way that he's worn the best player qualities that come with playing with the team that has less talent around him has been very, very good for them. I think his shooting off the dribble this season stands out as much as his playmaking does, but it's kind of both of those things in tandem with him being able to drive and do some of the post-up things that he does. He's really freaking good at basketball. And I think he's barely scratching the surface of what he will be once he gets back to being healthy and on the court for this team. If he's healthy down the home stretch and they get Matisse Thybulle and a couple of the other names that we saw up there back into their rotation, they could be a team that is viable in the play-in tournament. And then they got a player that wasn't on the injury report making his debut tonight, Vic Krejci, that they got from Atlanta. They needed shooting, and he's a player that can give them a ton of that. I imagine I don't know why I just blanked on his name, Tiago Splitter. I imagine Splitter gives him the opportunity to just let it fly from deep like 8 to 9 times, considering who's not in the rotation. He's a good fit for them.
Yeah, they made a hell of a deal to get him, and he's going to help them as they try to push to stay in this play and figure out what they're doing there. He's a shooter.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say Krejci will be a big addition for them. I know the Avdia absence looms large, and I'm sure they'll take it very slow with him just because this team is 2-4 without him this year. And 2 of the 5 games of their losing streak so far, he hasn't been available for. So definitely a very different team without him. But they do have other guys to keep an eye on. Drew Holiday being available is big for them just because he can set the table. He brings some veteran leadership for this team. And obviously have guys like Shaedon Sharpe. There's no shortage of talent with that Trailblazers team. But like you said, like Denny Avdia has been the guy for this team all season.
Let's talk about the rest of the Portland Trailblazers and our credit check brought to you by our friends over at Mountain America Credit Union, the official credit union of the Phoenix Suns. I want to focus in a little bit on Shaedon Sharpe, who's having a pretty good year this year, averaging just under 22 points per game. That's top 25 in the league, 4.5 rebounds. Now, he does not pass the ball. And not well either. Only 2.7 assists per game. I believe he's averaging more turnovers than assists. Yeah, 3.1 turnovers for 2.7 assists. But Shaedon Sharpe is somebody that has been a high flyer, a scoring enigma since he's come into the league, Gil. And you used to work, obviously, with NBA Canada and have followed this guy along with his career. What do you think maybe clicked a little bit more for him this year on the scoring side of things?
I think, honestly, like a big part of it is like reps and getting back to it. I think the most impressive part to me about him and his career arc is that this guy was a top 10 pick. I think he went 6th in his draft without playing a minute of college basketball. So that says all you need to know about how good this guy is. So, you know, he's a really young guy too, right? He's 22 years old. So just kind of having some reps for him coming into the league, it was kind of interesting. I remember when he first came in the league, Chauncey Billups, who is their coach technically, but not away from the team right now, compared Shaedon Sharpe. He said he's a cross between Brandon Roy and Vince Carter. I think that's a bit much because the cross between Brandon Roy and Vince Carter were probably the best basketball player ever.
Man,
but
what?
he's a very good basketball player, the athleticism. And I think basically what we hear so much about young players, he's starting to put it all together, and we're seeing it. I mean, averaging over 20 points per game. If you haven't been paying close attention to the Trailblazers, you might have missed that. But he's a big part of their young core.
I'd be all right if he didn't continue to put it together.
Not tonight.
Yeah. I mean, Brandon Roy with Vince Carter's longevity and health, good Lord.
Right.
Can you imagine, like, bruh, Oh
Isn't
my
that like
God.
kind of like Michael Jordan?
I mean,
No,
it
it actually is.
Like, yo, just can't imagine that. But I understand what he's doing. He's instilling confidence in a young man that should have a lot of it, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Now, obviously, a lot of the lineups, I feel like at times when Denny is healthy, they use Shaedon as an engine for those units. So naturally, if he doesn't have the best player on the court with him, he's just seeing the basketball in his hands and the rim, and he knows how to get there. He knows how to get up attempts there. There's gonna come some growth where he's gonna need to start kind of balancing out the scoring with the playmaking part, and putting that athleticism together and being solid on the defensive end as well. But I think he definitely has a solid foundation for skills that can be built upon. And I think the top tier skill is scoring, and he's not someone that lacks in that capacity. So that's a good place to start, and you can kind of build out from there.
And I bring his name up not because he's the best player in the world, but I think tonight, if the Trailblazers are going to win without Avdia, it's probably going to come on the backs of somebody having a big performance, and he is the most likely to put up a lot of points. Now, there are a couple of names here that Valley fans will be familiar with for a couple of different reasons. Obviously, Drew Holiday is somebody who's available when he plays. He's always been a Suns killer. You also have Caleb Love as an undrafted rookie from Arizona. As much as it pains me to say, he's been fantastic this year. He has been one of the best rookies in the league, especially at scoring the ball. And then, of course, you also have Toumani Camara, who, for another reason, Suns fans are still a little bit haunted by. Espo, when you go through the others, you could even throw Jeremy Grant in there as well. Is there somebody that you're keeping your eye on as like, that might be the guy tonight that gives the Suns the most problems?
I think it's probably Camara. What does his defense look like? Is he hitting a shot from deep? I think that is a guy that could be a pest tonight for this Suns team, and especially when you're shorthanded offensively, anybody that's that good defensively can really disrupt what you're trying to pull off.
Yeah, his defense takes on a different impact when Drew Holiday is on the floor with him. And then another name, Time Lord Robert Williams III. You add multiple pieces as an individual player that have impact defensively. You put them all together, and you have something that can be disruptive. And they're a team that feasts off of turnovers if you are turning the ball over. So them being able to pressure full court in the ways that they can, especially with two of those three names in Drew and Toumani, it hits a little different when those guys are on the court together. How quickly are you getting into your offense? What are the quality of shots that you're getting? They can be game records on that end, and I think we've seen it from each of those guys individually over the years.
No, for sure. Caleb Love's another guy. You mentioned him already, talked about him. And Jeremy Grant, like, feels like he's out of place a little bit. Feels like he's been mentioned as a guy who's going to be out the door for a while.
Look at his contract. He's certainly out of place.
Right. But, like, then there's just always a game where he'll knock down 4 or 5 threes. And it's like, oh, yeah, there you go. So don't let that happen. I think he'll be fine. But there's always, like, a chance that could be the type of thing that happens, and Jeremy Grant has one of those Jeremy Grant nights.
I mean, yeah, this is a Portland team that has not been playing well as of late. Like you mentioned earlier, Gil, 5 losses in a row, including a loss to the Wizards along the way there, most recently losing to the Cavs by 29 points or by 19 points at home. So this is definitely a game that the Suns should win, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be able to cakewalk to victory. Steven, what are your keys to a Suns win tonight?
Yeah, I'll start with the key before the keys, and that's having a very business-like approach to tonight's game. You can take a glance at the injury report and think, okay, how are they going to score on offense? You need to focus on doing the things that are going to sustain the level of play that you want to, especially without your two offensive engines. So key number 1, with Shaedon Sharpe in particular in mind, but also Toumani Camara, protect the paint. You contain the ball. You should be able to be more aware of guys that like to cut, like Toumani. If you can kind of get a chuck on those cutters and not let them cut cleanly, you should be in good position. Make them shoot threes. They don't like shooting them. They also can't really make them too well as a group. Do that job there. You should be solid in getting in transition. Number 2, to the point I brought up earlier, take care of the basketball. They're top 10 in defensive turnover percentage. They force a lot. Sometimes off of the pressure, one of the top teams in all of those pressure stats that I talk about, extended pickup points, how many guys are guarding in the backcourt, how long it takes an offense to get into the half court. Like, they're good with all of those things, and they're arduous with the consistency part there. They also run a lot of zone. Top 10 in zone percentage defensively too. So they ran a 2-3 against the Suns last time. They did not have the most fun with that. You want to make sure you're getting to the things that you want to get to early and often. Last one, Mark Williams. Have yourself a game. There should be opportunity there. Donovan Clingan is a big dude. but you should be able to outwork him in terms of one of your top tier skills, which is your motor. Find those kind of opportunities on the margins. But also find him in pick and roll, please. Thing is not going to be at the level. Drop enables opportunity, even if they are in that 3-2. The 3-2, if you play pick and roll, is just like a man-to-man almost. So get to your actions in pick and roll, find your roller, and let him work.
Yeah, Mark has to get going tonight. I think that's the key for me tonight is how does Mark look offensively, and when he's engaged offensively, it helps defensively too. You have guys fully engaged tonight. You need that from Mark.
I'm right there with you. Last game they played, Jared Allen at 40 and 17. The game before that, Cat had 14 and 20 boards, and the game before that, Alex Sarr at 29 and 12. So big men have been feasting against the Trailblazers, and the big thing is screen and roll actions, but also running the floor. Donovan Clingan, fine player, but you can beat him down the floor. So Mark Williams, take advantage of that.
I mean, not to be the downer here, but you look at the last couple games the Suns have played, right? Jalen Duren had 23 and 13. Jared Allen was scoring like crazy, looking like Shaq out there. Again, then look at Zubac, who just had 20 rebounds against Mark Williams. Mark, I'm not going to say he's had the worst couple of game stretch, but he's certainly just been out-physicaled by a lot of these guys, especially on the rebounding margin. The Suns are one of the worst defensive rebounding teams in the NBA, and if you're going to give Portland multiple opportunities to score here, you're going to put yourself in a rough position. That's how you lose games that you're not supposed to lose. So yeah, Mark, a really big key on both sides of the ball for me. Obviously, tonight is not the most important game of the season when it comes to how good is your opponent, but that doesn't mean the Suns' must-win meter is low. In fact, it's high tonight. We got Steven at an 8, which is basically a 10. We have Ayrton at a 9. We have Gil at a 9. I put myself at a 9 just so that I could say Espo is higher than me at a 10. Espo, why are you so damn high on the Suns must-win meter?
I wish I was high right now.
It's a late game.
It's a late game.
It's a Portland late game. If there's any game to be high for, it's this one.
I need to be one of the old blunt blazers and get going here tonight.
Wow. That's insane.
I mean, that's what they were known as for a while there. You guys are too young to remember that.
I mean, it's always smoky in the arena. So
it is.
Why is it always smoky in the
arena?
It
always looks like there's like a boxing.
Do they have a smoking section in there?
No, they're hot boxing in the lower section.
PNW.
So, what were we talking about? Oh, Suns must win meter. Yeah, it's a 10 tonight for me because Portland, not the greatest team in the world. You got some tough games coming up before the All-Star break. You got to go out there. You have an opportunity in front of you. Late game, so if you're forcing our asses to stay up, win the freaking thing.
Yeah, I mean, that is big time for our investment. And we're also doing a watch along, which you can find on this very channel on another link. But don't go there yet. Let's get into our pre-game picks presented by our friends over at Bet365. Sign up, use code PHNX365, deposit 10, place a bet for 5, get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. At Bet365, you must be 21 plus and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT-STEP to 53342, or visit promgambling.az.gov. That always feels so much longer when we're running short on time. Okay, take it down. Take it down.
This is so red.
By the way, Gil, you're borderline here. You're almost dropping down to
myself.
The negative. How are you saving yourself?
Oh, tonight we're going Mark Williams, have a big game. Over 10.5 assists and rebounds. Grayson Allen, over 23.5 points and assists. Shaedon Sharpe, under 31.5 PRA. That Suns defense. Take care of business. Plus 550 with a 30% profit boost.
Espo, where are you going?
I'm going big tonight. Mark Williams, 15-plus points. Grayson Allen, 20-plus points. Royce O'Neal, 15-plus points. Plus 3,100 with a 30% profit boost. I'll be kicking your asses after tonight.
Ayrton, where are you going? Oh, yeah, he doesn't have a mic. My bad. Dillon Brooks, 20-plus points. Grayson Allen, 2+ three-pointers made. Oso Ighodaro, of course. I could have just started saying Oso Ighodaro before we put the graphic up. Over 11.5 PRA. That PRA is dropping, Freckled Mamba, at a plus 225 with a 30% profit boost. Now, I saved mine for last because it's very clear that I don't know how to bet on Suns players. So I didn't tonight. Oh. This is my parlay. I'm taking Donovan Clingan over 14.5 assists and
rebounds. Jinxed the other team.
I'm taking Shaedon Sharpe over 22.5 points, and I'm taking Drew Holiday over 4.5 assists at a measly plus 440 with a 30% profit boost. I think I'm going to start doing this now, where I start betting on the other team because I just can't hit on the Suns. But will the Suns pick up a win tonight? We're going to talk about it in our watch along after this, so make sure you go to that stream. Make sure you go to the pinned post in our chat. Order your new villain shirt. Let's get one more look at that before we get out of here. We had Groundhog Mom in the chat saying she just ordered her shirt. I know a lot of people in the Discord are excited about it. Make sure you get yours. Help support us. Help give us the ability to make more shirts about the Phoenix Suns as we go through this season, including tonight against the Trailblazers. We'll be there for the watch along. Meet us there.
We all silly like the mayor.